Hi, I'm Johanna from Auri.
And this is Tuomas of Auri, and you have the pleasure of watching GRIMM TV.
To start with, how are you guys doing today?
Thanks, we're great.
Excellent! It's actually lovely to meet people
And talk about Auri.
and talk about Auri and be somewhere else than home.
Yeah,
which is
for
the best
change.
place in the world, but just for a change, even for one day.
I know.
Amidst all this bizarreness, it's just wonderful.
And luckily it's a really lovely day today.
That
so
too, yeah.
That adds to it. So yeah, we're here to talk about Auri and your upcoming second album. I'm pretty sure you're both pretty excited about it.
You're right.
From what I heard or read somewhere already, the fact that there's already a new album kind of stems a little bit about from the fact that, well, kind of locked up. That everyone is kind of locked up. Did that really speed up the kind of process, or?
With more than a year, actually.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the lockdown, we would be most likely in the studio as we speak, doing Auri II. But when we realized what was about to happen in March last year, we immediately thought that, okay, let's do Auri now. All of us already had a lot of songs and lyrics done. It was just a matter of finishing them, going to the studio, recording and mixing, getting the album done. So that's what we did, and the album has been ready since late October last year. So we have been sitting on it for the past
Longest
year
time.
almost.
Yeah.
And that makes it extra special to finally release it.
And like you were just saying that you already had like most songs kind of ready to record. Do you guys like each separately like write the songs, or do you like at some point like jam together, or?
We were just talking that someday it would be fun to kind of get together and just jam the songs out, but the way we work is we start the writing process in our home studios, and then when we feel like we're ready, we introduce the songs to each other and then pick things up from there. But maybe someday.
Would be nice. We have never played a single Auri song together yet, even though we have released 2 albums, which is a bit peculiar. But that's just the way it has worked for us really well with 2 albums now. We just have our ideas, then send them back and forth, see what goes.
Yeah, I think especially, I think I saw in another interview that you did, that you were talking about that Auri is all about kind of sort of freedom.
Yes.
So it would be kind of interesting to see what comes out of just like the freedom of just a jamming session.
Yeah,
Maybe with Auri III, we'll try that, who knows.
definitely.
But yeah, Auri is all about freedom and otherworldly things.
Yeah,
That's the best way I can describe it.
spot on.
Yeah, well, that's what the music easily brings across too. Like it's, I don't know, feels a bit like a fairy tale.
It's also, for me, it's like a position in a way that all art should be like that, just complete freedom.
True.
Unfortunately, it's not. And it's a rare thing these days that a group has so much freedom to do whatever we want. So, big thank you and kudos to Nuclear Blast for trusting us with this stuff. They never asked to hear anything in advance or
Ask us to change anything.
or dress in a certain way, nothing like this. They take the whole package as it comes, which we greatly respect.
Yeah, because it's not the most conventional music for Nuclear Blast. But it's nice to see that they still let artists be artists.
Yes.
And well, I guess at some point they sort of like trust you with the kind of pedigree that comes with you as a musician. I mean, you both had already quite lengthy careers, so I'm guessing like it'll be fine.
I think they realize that that's the only way to make us work.
True.
I mean, I couldn't work with an album in a way that I would have to play out demos or show them half-finished products at some point. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Good thing that the big boys have realized that.
Now for this album, like on I don't know, recording or writing, did any of you like try to do something different than the last time around, or was it just like same?
I don't think it's a conscious choice whenever you make music. It just arrives. We've been talking a lot about this, how it's a magical thing where the music comes from. I mean, you still can't put your finger on it, like what happens when you just write the music out and the music arrives from somewhere. It's not a conscious choice, at least for me. You're just sort of a spectator, and you watch things happen, and you enjoy it while you go along. And yeah.
It's a very common misconception with people that you kind of, before starting to do a song or an album, you sit down, maybe with your mates, and start to think about what the upcoming album should be about, what kind of musical direction it should take, or what the lyrics should be about. With us, in Auri, also in Nightwish, it's never ever like this. It's just like you have to keep your mind completely open and just let things come in. And then some of those things really inspire you, and they feel like, okay, this is a story worth telling. What's the best way of telling this story? And that's how the songs come. I have no idea where the melodies come from, where the structures of the song come from. You just have to be really humble before the story, how it wants to be told. Sometimes it wants to be told in the language of metal, sometimes in the language of a ballad or folk or even a cappella. Whatever, you just have to listen to the lyrics and the atmosphere, and then it comes out.
Yeah, and some songs are really like straightforward. They tell you right away who they are and how they want to sound. And some songs are like more shy, I'd say, or they take more coaxing to get their essence out, which is wonderful too.
It's absolutely wonderful and interesting. On the new Auri album there are some songs like It Takes Me Places. It's instantly clear what the song is about for us and maybe for the listener as well. But then there are some much more ambiguous pieces that still I'm not quite sure what this is about. There's truth, no logic.
Yeah, I love that quote.
Yeah, and I just love that, and that's the thing that still keeps us interested in doing music and listening to music after all these years, because it's still a big mystery to us.
It's really interesting and kind of lovely, like to hear. Like it's like you're talking about that your songs and your music as like living beings, and like I strongly believe that there's like certain energy flows in the world, and it very much sounds like you're basically a conduit for that energy, and you translate it into songs, which is like a really interesting perspective and such to hear.
It's so fascinating, isn't it? I'm very science-driven guy in almost everything, but music is still the ultimate mystery. It's the best magic trick in the universe. What happens when you hear nothing but audio frequencies, and they come into your ear and they make you feel the way you do? They melt you, they bring you to tears, they comfort you, they make you angry, whatever. And it's just noise. Not noise, it's...
For some people it is.
It's audio, yeah. So what's going on there? Science doesn't really have an explanation for that. That's wonderful.
They try here and there, but indeed, like, I'm quite science-driven too, but you need to be open for that. Something.
You have to be open to that. That's vital.
Like you just said, and like I think I heard you say it in other interviews too, that like the songs themselves, they're like not specific to like certain inspirations or something, that you just maybe here and there pick up like a small thing and then just make it expand from there?
Sometimes, pretty rarely, it happens like that. Not often. It has happened that you read a certain book or watch a film and then immediately feel like, I have to do something about this story or this theme.
Yeah.
But more often it's something like, okay, this is a lovely starting point. Where does this story take me? Let's start to explore. And it's the beginning of a fantastic journey.
True.
Yeah. And I've listened to your album now a couple of times, and I kind of really enjoy the fact that there's people actually making this kind of music still, because it's not the kind of music that you would necessarily I don't know, could call like the most popular or something, but it touches something. It touches something. Just like I've always been a big fan of like Irish folk music, and like the kind of folk music that comes from somewhere deep within, and with your music I kind of feel that. So that's lovely to see that
Excellent.
people like you
It's
make
good
that.
to hear. Yeah, you can hear authenticity.
Yeah, there's no calculation whatsoever. I mean, we forget the mind, we work from here.
No egos involved at all.
Yeah, it's
That cannot be.
freedom also in that sense, that we don't get attached to things. It's all in service of the music, service of the songs, and not our personas or self-aggrandizement or anything. It's just purely the love for that music and how we can best serve it.
And it's wonderful to be able to detach yourself from the group as well, and to be able to listen to the songs without realizing that you're a part of it.
Yeah, you forget you were a part of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do that, like, ever. It's always when I listen to a nicest track, it's like, I'm part of that group. But with Auri, it's somehow different. When I listen to the new album, it's like just a wonderful piece of art and music that takes me places.
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself being a part of that.
It's like a film you watch. You're the spectator. I mean, the music can flow through you, but it's not you. It's more than you. It's something magic.
Again, something that I can't explain, other than it's wonderful.
Something a little bit otherworldly.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a lovely word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I've noticed that there's somewhat of like a little bit of a trend towards that kind of music. It touches something really deep within. Like there's now like a bunch of so-called like pagan folk bands that are getting really popular. Like almost all metal bands are metal labels are picking up a band like that. Like there's Heilung and Warruna and stuff like that. It seems to really strike a chord with people. Are you kind of like, well, I'm guessing you're not necessarily hoping because it's all about the music, but kind of hoping that it would touches people in like that similar way that when they listen to your music now?
I believe that the energy that you put in anything translates. It's not a conscious thing, but subconsciously I believe that we can all pick up the energy with which different things were made in music or food or whatever you're making. It has to come across somehow. Is that, I don't know what it is. Again, this goes beyond the scientific, I don't know the explanation for it, but yeah, we are sentient, really sensitive beings in that sense. And I think, and also I think it's really interesting to see how we can find the same level to vibrate in through music, and how the same music can cause different effects, different responses in different people. I mean, you can find those kindred spirits through it, and for some people it might not do anything, and then maybe a few years later it might. It's all to do, and in a certain person in a certain way, how you can, what you can get out of it. It's wonderful. Yeah, my mind is blown every time I try to even wrap my head around it. Yeah.
Musical experience, artistic experience is always subjective.
True.
And that's what I love about it too. It has no rules. And that's why I'm not a big fan of music competitions.
That's such a weird
Whether it's like classical, respected music competition, or more like reality things like this Voice of whatever and talent. Because how do you judge music? You are a better singer than you, or you made a better song than you. You sang more in tune than you. That's why you're the winner. It's absurd to me. In sports, it's easy, there are rules. But music, art, even cooking shows, who makes the better food? The other. How do you judge that? Because it's always so subjective.
Yeah. I guess it's a human thing, the need to label things. I try to steer clear from it, but we all kind of sometimes...
Yeah, it's entertainment for the masses.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
True.
But to call something a music competition is a bit of a travesty.
And even to try to put music into different, genres, for instance, to box it. This music is this, especially with Auri. It's been kind of, I don't know. We need a new box. Yeah.
Exactly. And why do you need those boxes to begin with? Like you can't have females in metal. You cannot a keyboard. That's not metal. Or then, for example, Troy has experienced this, that you cannot have Ilian pipes in a rock band. Or that they always need to be played acoustically without any enhancement. All these weird rules
I think it
that
brings
shouldn't exist.
safety to some people, those borders, to
They do,
confine
yeah.
things. But it's all an illusion at the end of
It
the day.
is. The essence of art, like we talked, is to be free and experiment, try new things. There are no rules.
It's a wonderful playground. Yeah, no matter what age you are.
Yeah, there most definitely should be no rules in that. 'Cause it ends up making it just too boring. And personally, I'm always attracted more to bands that try to infuse other genres than what they're like boxed into. Those bands are just way more intriguing and appeal to me way more than just like it's a black metal band or like it's just more interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it all boils down to staying true to yourself and finding what's your thing and then doing that, not caring about anyone else or what anybody else does. Just follow that path that feels right to you, because that's when it comes across the strongest, I think.
It really is as simple as that. And if your thing is to do something that's already been done a million times, fair enough.
Yeah.
As long as it's exactly what you want to do,
True.
stick to that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with doing music just for the sake of entertainment.
Yeah, that's needed.
If you want to do 90s disco music, or if you want to be like Bon Jovi, whatever, it's completely fine. For me, personally, music is more something deeper. It's more about self-searching and these kind of things. But like you said, the most important thing is always to be true to yourself.
It's always funny to see when music fans are like, this is not supposed to be, the band is not supposed to play this, or this, like, no, let them decide, they're the artists, like, it's fine like this.
Yeah, every single band and artist goes through this, that I wish they did what they did 20 years ago or back in the days and all that.
And then if they do exactly constantly the same, it's not good either, because
No.
they're always doing the same.
No, they're just copying themselves. So
It's like telling a toddler, "Oh, I don't want you to grow. Why are you walking now? No, I want you to stay forever like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, don't grow up." Yeah, it's just impossible.
it's just nostalgia speaking.
And I get that.
I completely get that. I'm to blame for the same things. But you should let artists roam free and do what they want to do. If it doesn't appeal to you anymore, that's completely okay.
Yeah. We all change. We should.
And I think in a certain way your music with Auri kind of touches back to that nostalgia feeling as well. Because I feel it's very much based in that kind of, like I said earlier, that like Irish folk and like this old time music in a bit of a modern jacket now, but it touches that like, I don't know, I've seen that at shows where they play that kind of folk music. I've seen people from all different walks of life and all different kinds of like from alternative people to the so-called mainstream people and such, all in one big group, kind of vibing on that. Just, I don't know, it's like touching your roots or something. I don't know.
Folk music. I like the sound of that.
There must be something, a memory coded in our DNA for that to kind of resonate in us, that ancient music.
Yeah.
Yeah. All kind of familiar.
Yeah, it always struck me at concerts like that there was just, I don't know, some really small local folk festival or something, and there's just people from the neighborhood dropping by, and they see a band that plays certain like old rhythms and old instruments and have a certain vibe, and they like completely taken away by it and completely connect.
Yes.
That's really, really interesting to see.
It is.
Yeah.
Magic of music.
Yeah, again. You're both quite busy with like your own different projects and such. I assume that at some point with Auri you would like to bring that magic live.
Most definitely. Yeah.
Been talking about it a lot.
We have.
Yeah. We were supposed to do a little tour at the end of this year, but because of everything that's going on, it has to be postponed. So earliest 2023, I think, maybe even later. It really depends on the postponed shows by Nightwish, because that still is a priority. Absolutely, at some point, we need to do this live.
It'd be so much fun. Because I mean, the live environment it's a different world to writing music. I love both worlds, writing music and playing it live. There is a different sort of magic involved when you experience the music there in the moment when you play it. It's like gathering around a fire and watching the flames. It's a mesmerizing thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when you record the magic of your music, it's kind of like it's there. It's like kind of in a way a bit constricted to what you recorded.
Yeah.
While live, the name itself says it. It's very much alive. It's like a living, breathing thing that you can experience. So.
I love it.
Exactly.
That's probably the hardest thing about recording music, because it's like taking a picture and you want to make sure that is this really the best picture of this thing that I can put out there, because the thing itself, like music, it's alive, it's a living being, at least how I see it. And playing music live, there's always that room for it to grow, and it might turn into something else throughout the years entirely, which is so exciting to witness as well. So it kind of gets to live on in the live scene. Yeah.
Well said. Yeah.
And in your mind, playing Auri music live, what would be for you like the ideal setting or ideal environment to play it live in?
Since the music is so otherworldly, the venues could be something left field as well.
Yeah.
Churches, cathedrals, castles, theater stages, even these weird lakefront outdoor venues, that kind of stuff.
Something special.
Caves.
Yeah,
There's a couple of
caves.
venues and caves too. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool to get to experience your music on a spot or area where it actually is easier to connect with it. I think it kind of asks for that almost.
You can literally step into another world.
Yeah. I don't see Auri doing big arenas.
Yeah.
Lovely pub setting. Or
Something
like I
else.
mentioned, a nice church.
Yeah.
be perfect.
The right atmosphere is really crucial.
And also the idea of starting from scratch, playing small venues, not knowing what's going to happen, how many people come, and how does our life evolve.
Yeah.
All that still
Oh, I
coming.
can't wait now.
It's an exhilarating thought.
Yeah, someday we'll make it happen.
I can already imagine like places where you guys would like perfectly fit, and be exciting to see where it takes you.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
It takes
A few more
places.
years, it will.
Yeah,
Something to look forward to then.
definitely.
Us as well.
Guess that's about it for now. Is there anything you would love to add still?
We're just really grateful to have found so many kindred spirits through our music and share this wonderful journey with everybody. That makes us really happy.
Sure does. And it's been almost a year since the album was finished, so wonderful to finally share it with all of you on September 3rd.
Okay. Thank you for this lovely talk.
Thank you.
You too, sir.
It was
Thank you.
great.